What's up guys, I'm Paintball Dad, thanks for tuning into my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little experiment. I'm going to be seeing what I am better at, IRL paintball or virtual paintball. Now I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to do this anyways to show you guys what it looks like through my POV when I'm playing real paintball versus virtual paintball. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually mimic what I did this past weekend in the actual paintball field, and I'm going to try to do it on VR paintball. Now my primary position is the snake, but I don't always go straight into the snake. Sometimes I'll stop short and I'll fight my way into the snake. That's kind of what I did most of this past weekend. I went running and gunning either to the right 30 or roughly the center 30, and then I broke out to the snake once I could fight my way in. Now I'm going to show about 4 or 5 points of IRL paintball and then 4 or 5 points of VR paintball. But let's jump into it. I'm going to show you guys my POV from this weekend at the paintball field. And this past weekend I was at my home field of Palmetto Hills in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Okay, so here I am doing the play that I did for most of the day. I broke out to the center 40, that tower right there, and I was running and gunning on my way up. Now I do admit that I missed an easy hit, or what should have been an easy hit, on that guy that ran out to the snake corner. Maybe I caught a bounce on him, but who knows. But now after just a few seconds of being at that tower, I kept the pressure on the snake corner, I peeked inside, made sure there was nobody shooting at me from the home, and then I bumped into the snake pretty easily. Now I immediately moved up to the snake too, and to my surprise, I got a pretty sneaky kill right away. I managed to find a tiny gap between 2 bunkers, and I saw a body moving, and I shot through it, and I actually got somebody. But now for some reason, this is something that I can never do in virtual paintball. I don't know why. I just have the worst luck in virtual paintball, I guess. Whenever I see somebody just a little bit, I just can't hit them. And heck, I feel like there's plenty of times when I get a whole person's body and I still miss them in VR paintball. But now let me fast forward to another really cool moment that I had in this point. I actually moved from the snake all the way over to the Dorito side just to get somebody, because I saw that there was somebody coming down the Dorito side pretty fast, and my paint was shooting wild. For some reason, the paint was just really bad this day. I could not get accurate shots at all, so I knew I had to get close to him in order to hit him, and that's exactly what I did right there. We actually both shot each other. Alright, here's another point that I did really well on, and I'm going to try to fast forward to all the action parts. So I did my typical breakout. I ran straight up to the 30 tower, and then I broke out to the snake after gunfighting for a few seconds at that tower. I knew there was someone in the snake, so I wrapped around and I actually shot him out. And I could hear that there was somebody still shooting from nearby that area. I figured he was at that big brick, so I looked over the top and I shot him out, but I stayed standing up a little too long, and so somebody else got me out. And here comes that dude running down the sideline. Alright, so here's a point where I didn't do so well. This point actually ended pretty quickly. I made it to my first bunker. I was doing my usual thing. I went up to that center 30 tower, but this time when I tried wrapping, I guess I just stuck out a little too far. I got ahead of myself, and I actually got shot out by the home players. But now one huge difference that I noticed right here is that in IRL paintball, it's very rare that I get shot out off the break. I almost always make it to my first bunker, but in virtual paintball, it happens pretty often that I actually don't make it even to my first bunker. And just as another example, here's another point where I didn't do so well, but I made it into the snake. I feel like I should have shot that guy in the tower, but whatever. My main problem here was that I stayed way too long at that first snake knuckle, and I didn't realize I didn't have a corner player supporting me, so their snake player was able to move down freely, and he just popped out really quick and shot me with a quick one hit. Alright, so now let's look at some points in VR paintball. Here I am trying to do basically the same thing that I was doing in the field. I broke out to the left 30 in this situation, and I made my way into the snake. I got lucky right there. I saw somebody, and I managed to get him out right around that center 50 area by that brick. And then this point ended pretty quickly. We got the W for that point. Everything went pretty smooth. Now in this point, I changed things up just slightly. I delayed at the home for a little bit, and I got somebody out off the break. I will admit, this is something I can't do very often in IRL paintball, so that's actually one benefit to VR paintball. I'm a little better at laning in VR paintball. But then right here, somebody shoots me out from the D side. That's one of those things that I feel like that would have never happened in IRL paintball, because as we saw in one of the first points in my IRL experience, I actually found somebody moving down the D side, and I was able to move all the way over to the D side and get him out. In real life paintball, I have better control over my senses, so it's a lot harder for somebody to just sneak past me like that. Alright, now in this point, I broke out to the left W, and then I bumped into the snake once I made sure it was safe. And now I'm in the snake, and I'm about to get into a gunfight. This gunfight goes well, I shoot that guy pretty easily, but then this right here pisses me off. That's one of those situations that would never happen IRL. There would never be a situation where somebody is crawling on their stomach and just happens to get a super accurate shot one-handed overhead against me when I'm standing up, just raining paint down on him. And I think that's one of the things that bugs me the most about VR paintball is that even though there's some things that are easier in VR, it doesn't make up for the fact that the ways that I get shot are sometimes really embarrassing ways that would never happen in real life. And here's another example of what I mean. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So I got to 30, I made it into the snake like I usually do, but then right here, I have a face-to-face gunfight with this dude, and I'm pretty sure you could see that I was aiming right at him, and somehow I missed him completely. But in IRL, we actually saw a video where I went face-to-face with a dude, and we both shot each other. This is one of those situations that it would never have turned out that way in real life. And now just one more example of something that I get caught doing a lot in VR. I get caught a lot getting shot between bunkers, especially going into the snake. Now, out of all the games that I recorded this past weekend, IRL, that never happened. I think the reason it happens to me a lot in VR paintball is because I just can't get used to the physics of VR paintball, that I think you can only sprint when you're standing up tall, but in real life, I can run pretty fast even when I'm staying low. Now, the funny thing is that for as much as I complain about VR paintball, my KD is actually pretty similar to my real life KD. Over the weekend, I played about 8 points and I got 8 kills. And in these 2 games of VR paintball that I just showed you, I went +1 in one game and then -1 in another game. So it basically evened out to 0. So I don't know, maybe I'm not as bad as I think I am in VR paintball, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm better in real life paintball or VR paintball? And what's your experience like? Do you play both VR and IRL, and which one do you think is easier? Thanks guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.